Hi there, students. Dyed in the wool. He's a dyed-in-the-wool conservative. She's a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. So firstly notice to dye, D-Y-E, not dye, to change the colour of something, to put a dye to make the colour change. Okay, if you say somebody is dyed in the wool, they are a strong supporter. They hold these opinions very, very deeply, and they're never going to change. So, as far as cooking is concerned, my dad is a dyed-in-the-wool traditionalist. Okay, he holds his opinions about how to cook things very, very strongly. He believes everything should be done by hand. Okay, so dyed in the wool. It says that you have very strong opinions about something, and you're not going to change. So it was clear that he is a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, or this is a bar for dyed-in-the-wool bikers. Okay, so dyed-in-the-wool, somebody whose beliefs are very strong. They have a very strong opinion about this. They follow this very strongly, and they're not going to change it. So even your most dyed-in-the-wool supporters are starting to wonder if you are doing the right thing, if you're going in the right way. So entrenched, established, confirmed, outright, strong, thorough. Yeah, your most dyed-in-the-wool supporters. So he's a dyed-in-the-wool Bob Dylan fan. He's a dyed-in-the-wool buyer of this brand of clothing. Okay, so dyed-in-the-wool. Then they're not going to change it. Permanently and firmly established, but particularly in opinions and beliefs. This is not something that is ever going to change. So what dyed-in-the-wool opinions do you have? What opinions, in what things are you a steadfast supporter? Are you set in your ways? Okay, he's a dyed-in-the-wool supporter of freedom of choice. She's a dyed-in-the-wool left-winger. Normally this is talking about political opinions, ways of life, things like that. It's saying that this is not something that is liable to change. They're confirmed. They're uncompromising. They're not going to change their beliefs about this. These are attitudes that are unchanging. They don't have to be extreme attitudes, but they have to be extremely strongly fixed, extremely deeply entrenched. Something that is never going to change. So yeah, he's a dyed-in-the-wool conservative. She's a dyed-in-the-wool feminist. She believes this very, very, very strongly, that this is something that is going to be there forever. They're an out-and-out traditionalist. They're a dyed-in-the-wool traditionalist. Now, formality. Dyed-in-the-wool. 4.75 informality. Use it informally in a semi-formal conversation, in a semi-formal writing, but not something very formal. And dyed in the wool. Well, wool is the thing that comes from a sheep that you make a jersey with. And if something is dyed in the wool, then you take the wool, and before you spin it into yarn, before you make thread out of it, you dye it. And if you dye it like that, then all of the wool is exactly the same colour. because it's very common that people spin the wool so they have a ball of thread, a ball of wool, which can be knitted, and then they dye this, and with that the colour can be less regular throughout. But if you dye something in the wool, it's before you take the raw wool and you dye that, and then you spin it, and that's why it's much more permanent and it's much more even as well, and that's the origin. So enough. I hope you are all dyed in the wool I Swear English fans. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Dyed in the wool.